time to get in here. Come on. Settle up those folks. We're going to ride tonight. Yeah, we're going early. We'd be dangerous today. Last day for Stall Track, down to less than 11 hours on Indiegogo. Mark Largent will be joining us, along with Shadowhawk. And who knows who else? Jay Greger tomorrow on his birthday. Keep your fingers crossed about that one. Carrie in the house. What's up, gents? I'm the only gent here right now. But Stall Track, the complete collection, will be talking about this and the upgrade and everything. 40 backers, $4,140. Last day, will it go in demand? Stay tuned and find out. Let's play the trailer on Choppy Ass Theater. Try before you buy. You can go over to Mark Largent's YouTube channel. You can watch the first two. They're posted. This is the complete collection. Comic book as well. Viewmaster reels. Come on, folks. Complete package. Oh, yeah. That's what she said. How rude. How rude. Hope everyone's having a happy hump day. I am. Been very, very, I'm ahead of time. What can I say? Been writing today. Been a very productive day for me up to a certain point. Lights coming in there. Let's back it up. Anyway, I'll keep my icon up for now. Shadowhawk will be in here momentarily, I'm sure. Mark Largent will be joining us. But yeah, I've been working on. Yesterday was the bog supplement I was working on. Made good progress on that. To the point of thinking about layouts, with the dialogue. Today, totally different. Woke up with Midnight. I watched last night Once Upon a Time in the West. Sergio Leone's, I hope I said his name right, Italian director. I have to think about that. Hey, Mike, before I say it, it's easy to get tongue-tied. Watching that classic movie. Don't know if that was his last Western or not. Mark might know when he gets on here. Probably go for a couple hours today. We'll see. We'll see. You never know with the 4 o'clock shutter. I've got the time. I've got the power. But yeah, writing about midnight and the roustabouts. Perhaps a story that will be in the pulp, perhaps a story that will be in Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, where all the stories are told in the future, one in the near future, one 250 years in the future, one set in 1959, not our future, but the character's future, the Death of Silver Boa story. And I've really wanted to develop Midnight, and this would be a perfect story for Midnight. Um, so I had a meeting today over the phone with Jay Krieger, the birthday boy for tomorrow. And we made progress. Pretty soon, probably at the end of, within a few days. I don't want to say the end of the week because heck, it's half over. Maybe at the end of the weekend, maybe this time next week, soon he'll have some sketches done on a start and kind of go over it with me and an approval. And I totally changed the 2-page layout. We may say that for later. I've had some very good ideas for that. But sometimes you have what's the word I'm trying to think? Some days you make progress, some you don't. And today was a progressive day in a good way. As far as the writing of Midnight and a new direction for Midnight, I actually came up with something that can tell 2 simultaneous stories about Midnight and a roustabouts in 2 different timelines. So let's put it that way. It's not any cheap time travel stuff. It's not like that. I don't really want to give it away, but you'll know when you see the page that Jay Krieger's started to work on here pretty soon. I decided to, instead of a 2-page spread, like I had said on Katie's the other day, don't be afraid to pivot. Just got in, be there in a minute. Sure, I started a little early anyway, Shadowhawk. Just give the lowdown on what I've been doing today. And I rewatched Once Upon a Time in the West before the show. Ended about 45 minutes before the show today. That's a long movie, but it's a great movie, a great Western, even though it's Italian made and partially made over here in America, mostly over in Spain. One of the spaghetti Westerns, but a countertype of your regular. It's like a Western opera, to tell you the truth. The music was actually written first, and I think it was all dubbed, even the American actors. That way, you didn't have to worry about boom placement for the sound, shadows, things like that. He just shot the film and then I think had a soundtrack done for it. A lot of it was done to the music while they were acting on set. Interesting. I actually started the day. I watched maybe one documentary last night after watching it, and then watched a couple other documentaries and a featurette today and some of the special things. That's where you really get some insight about movies. And then I rewatched the movie because it made me want to rewatch the movie even more. But kind of got a cyber frog in my throat today. I don't know. I was coughing earlier, a little, mucus. I don't know. Might be the cold outside, heat on the inside tends to dry stuff out. I don't know. If I don't get choked up once a day, I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Same thing with Abby. But decided to make the 2-page spread of in Midnight and the Roustabouts. Not a 2-page spread. It is kind of a 2-page spread. It was always kind of like after I kind of pivoted about what I wanted, because I had a more cosmic page layout, more of cosmic baddies in mind, with, I can't even remember now. It might have been Bystander. But totally pivoted. Hey, Shadowhawk.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Well, I need to turn my volume down because I had it all the way turned up for Mark's. Mark Largent will be joining us. It's his last day. About 10 hours left on Stalled Track over on Indiegogo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Played the trailer to sort of begin the stream. Just talking about working on Midnight and the Roustabouts. Yesterday was the Bog supplement. Got it to the point, the sort of plot of the story, not everything, but a beginning. A lot of dialogue yesterday on that. Beginning dialogue, a good page worth. Now, how that's going to pace out, I'll just have to kind of do some thumbnails and we'll see. I do plan on drawing that myself. Most of it. We'll see. I've still got to work in Rob's origin too. Do I? Or do I? That could be the origin of another story. I mean, of another character. It doesn't necessarily have to be Bog at this point. I'm not afraid to pivot and change some things. I was telling them that I'm changing 2-page spread. It's kind of a 2-page spread. It was like coming soon. Once I went with the Midnight, it's kind of like a coming soon, and I thought I'd make it like a big 2-page spread. We might save that. I might actually use that on like the inside front cover or splash page or some other thing. I did talk to Jay Krieger about doing some additional work for me for the pulp, some of the chapter inserts. He's on board to do that as long as he has time. He's working on like 3 different projects right now. And I said, you'll have all the time in the world. I don't know when it's going to come out. It's going to be one of those B.A. Turner things. It's going to be one of those Apollyon 20XX things. It's going to be, over 100 pages.
Cool.
He kind of liked the idea. He talked about Hellboy kind of getting a pulp chapter thing. And I have seen something on that back in the 80s. I think it was that Mike Mignola did with Hellboy. But I said, yes, but have you ever seen a comic book, like, 8, 10 page, 12, whatever it takes to tell the story, comic story, put it in a pulp somewhere so that you get the best of both worlds. You get sizable text, sizable pulp with chapter artwork, and plus, a satisfying story. And that's kind of what I've been working on. Now, once I tell you Shadowhawk, this could work for future visions. The story I have in mind that I've actually been doing the dialogue to. I have to figure out who the character is she's talking to, because it is set in the future. It's set in the future. So
I am from the future.
Yeah, and so they've got history, these 2 characters, right? So I have to work some things out, but it's a great premise for a story told in the future with Midnight.
Cool.
In her future. And I may leave that for future visions, or I think it would work in the pulp. I think so. Came up with definite for one page for Kreger to do. And I said, I'll think about the other, which might be like wanted, include like wanted posters for you and Crooked Painter and Lack and anybody else that's going to be drawn in the roustabout. So the first page will concentrate on Midnight, the character, and the second page will kind of Midnight and the roustabouts coming soon type pages. I give you a good look of 2 pages of Midnight, which I've been very hot to, as you know, to have other artists draw them. Tank Ferret's working on one now.
Right.
Had Vic do the initial drawing, and then George Peter Gaddis, he's got one up on the campaign. So
Giorgio.
I've been very, hot to get one of my sexiest female characters. I think, I need to interject more women into the book. Right now, there's 6 female characters in the book for sure.
Wow. And here you were worried about lacking on female characters.
Yeah, but I mean, all right, I take that back. Wait, there's at least 7 slated because John Dillard's got an extra one. And some of the female characters will be shown twice. At least, one of them that I know of, and that's Sweet Baby, the Yakuza assassin. Which the Midnight story ties into that because Midnight and some story, probably in the pulp, will get involved in the opium trade, thwarting the opium trade. And that will be like her grandmother or great grandmother. Because she's a 30s and 40s character.
Right.
But now opium and the Orient trade, it's been going on since 19th century,
Yeah, since the 1860s, 1870s, something like that.
Which is kind of similar to what I did in Devil Flyer, or will be doing in Devil Flyer, with Cy Marco and his family, because you'll get to see Cy Marco's grandfather in a story when he's a young man and just coming into the mafia in the 50s, in 1959.
Very cool.
In the Death of Silver Boa story, which is, going to be in Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, which is a story told in our past, but the character's future.
But still.
You'll get to see him as a young man, and then in Devil Flyer Zero, you'll get to see him as an old man in his 80s.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So you'll get to see some characters, especially unless they don't age or they age very slowly, like Bystander. You'll get to see characters that are old. I mean, in that 250-year story, Storm Rider, that has lightning powers and is kind of super energized, right? He's going to live a very long time. He's an old man at the time of the telling of the story that's set in 250 years in the future. But he's still alive. Right. Now, he has some cybernetic enhancements by that time.
You need to, once you hit the big 200, you need a little help in the bedroom. Whoa,
yeah. Future pill Viagra, you take it once and it lasts forever.
Cybernetic peen.
Shawing. Yeah, so, been thinking this through. Think we're on good track. The The
Yeah,
2 pages
we're
have
gonna
already
talk
been
about
paid
this shit.
for. I
You
just had to get
already
something
had
to
to talk
Jay.
about it.
Jay Krager will be joining us tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow, Shadowhawk, on his birthday.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw a post from Jay today that from uh, oh god, what's the name of that manga series? Attack on Titan. It was cool, man.
Carrie says YouTube will not get me today.
Won't get you today. Okay.
Search and destroy.
Paulus Arts, I don't know if you
It-
noticed
you know,
him in the chat.
yes, I did say hello to Paulus.
Okay.
Hello, hello. And Carrie, now you've just given me a mission. I consider it my duty to have to get you today. And just an
So,
announcement for everyone while we're taking a pause here. Shadowhawk's channel is starting weekly, high noon. The new show with Shadowhawk every Saturday at noon. Please come by, check out the show, drop a like, subscribe if you like. We would love to have you.
starting this Saturday, I take it.
Yep, starting this Saturday, and of course I'll shoot you a link, Rex, if you want to pop
Okay.
on for a little while.
Sure. Comic reviews.
Comic reviews, things in the
Yeah.
news, and whatever other wacky stuff comes up in
Now-
Shadow's tiny little brain pan.
This will be great for this Saturday, but I must warn you. Don't know if you
Yeah.
took this into account or if it even matters to you. But every other Saturday, we have the Rex X and Apex show at 11. So, may not
Right.
hear-
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not going till 12, so I could still stop by at Rex X and Apex and then,
Okay.
do my own show.
Just wondering, because I know you
Wow.
kind of picked a spot that's kind of dead, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Or-
Saturdays there's usually not a whole lot of traffic, and I realize Rex X and Apex, but that's every other week. So
That's
I
every
think we
other
can-
week, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I
And
think I
people
think I can manage
definitely
to work.
watch that on replay if they
Yeah.
need to.
Or people can watch, my review or
Or
whatever
live.
on replay. Yeah, either way.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always that great.
Yeah, I got nothing against rewatches later. That's the name of the game, right?
Hell, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Genuine Dave
Tommy
and Hope.
House with his perfect 5.
And wait a minute, what was it called? Perfect 10, number 5, and
Well, I mean, it's perfect 10, number 5. Yeah. What did I
right.
say? Perfect 5.
And I forgot the secondary book that's on the campaign. Shoot, I'm sorry, Dave.
The supplement. Or
Yeah. Well,
we could bring it up and
Power Trip. I think that's what it's called.
okay. Testing the old brain cell today, eh?
Oh man, dude, it's been a week already, and it's only Wednesday.
I might look down here. I might even
Power
have.
Trip. See, I got it right. Thank you, Dave.
I don't know if I dropped David's campaign down below or not. It
I
may
got
be
it.
down there. I try and get in some additional links.
We're
Sometimes I
doing
do.
we had Cocaine Bear. And then we had Cocaine
Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Pooh Bear will be
Oh,
the
but
next.
I thought I muted.
I will bring your campaign up, Dave. Solid stories, from what I hear. I'm gonna have to mortgage something or something to back you heavily one of these days, Dave. Get caught up. Here it is. Okay, over on Indiegogo. We'll take a look at that. Just bring that up. Power Trip, yes.
No, Metgator.
Perfect 10, book 5, and Power Trip, book 2.
There.
Over on Indiegogo.
There's something else. Oh,
And while the Hawks have a conversation, we'll
sorry,
play the
Mama just got in the door, so we got to chat a little bit.
No problem.
Sorry.
Also over on Fun My Comic, yes indeed. Shadow Lion.
What the hell? Uh-oh.
Man, everything Dave does looks so nice.
Oh yeah, great character design.
Yeah, beautiful art, great coloring. I mean, oh,
Oh,
awesome, dude.
absolutely. Yeah.
Killing it, Dave. Keep up the great work, my friend.
$10,022 over on 151 backers on Indiegogo. But and it's in demand. It is over on Fun My Comic as well, as Dave said.
Yes. Fun My Comic, where comics are important. And shadow banning is forbidden.
Yeah, there's too much of that goes on.
Yeah, way too much. If we can get everybody the hell away from Kickstarter and Indiegogo and get everybody on FMC, I think it'll be good for everyone.
Don't think it's going to happen. You're dreaming, but sure.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen right away. But if Indiegogo keeps fucking around, I mean, they haven't really fucked with some of the big guys yet. Like they've messed with Ethan a little bit, but they usually put his shit right back up real quick. But I mean, yeah, for some of the guys that have been doing Indiegogo since 2018, they'll probably still be doing Indiegogo until something happens.
Carrie says, please, can you both pray for my friend? Getting feedback just now for some reason.
Okay. Still?
Pray for my friend's boyfriend to find a new job. He's pretty gutted about over losing his job. Yeah, right at Christmas time. That's second.
Oh, that's horrible.
Needs a slogan.
Needs a slogan. Oh, that's okay. That's a good idea, Jason.
Maybe a slogan.
Put the old brain pan to work. See if I can come up with something for this.
I'll bring up the Fun My Comic link as well. But before I encounter that, Blood and Sword issue 2 has launched by Richard Embry. Okay, now that it's already on storefront, so thought it just launched. So
yeah, it just launched over the weekend, I think. Katie did a launch for him.
Yeah, maybe not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Oh no, you're right. Raised in 4 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, $2,500 raised in 4 days. Good. 46 backers. It's already on. Maybe he went straight to storefront. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe that's a new option you can do or something. Or maybe you've always been able to. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's they kind of want it, as a shopping boutique somewhat. Hey, Omer, I'm late. I'm scheduling some stuff for my show later. Oh, hump day again. Yeah.
Well, that's right. I'm going to have to join Omer tonight if I can stay up long enough.
The thing of it is, I couldn't even go on Topicless last night because I'm on the other X. I don't even know that I follow under Rex Christian on X. So getting a link to any show besides my own is difficult right now till I nuke the.
Have them send it to you have them send it to your Insta.
Yeah, you could send it to my Insta if he wants.
Yeah, I mean that'll make it easier for you.
Sherlock Holmes Leviathan, $10,583 over on Fun My Comic. Of course, that's on all 3 platforms. Little Mermaid trudging along, $21,125. A damn dirty thing, $2,058, 82%
Woohoo!
funded. You can get that thing
Very
funded.
nice.
Six Gun Gorilla Volume 2 over there, trade paperback, The Great Silence, $2,031 over there. The
Yeah,
Mythicals
what's it?
1 through 3, you can get 1 through 3. This is the campaign for the third one. $3,896 out of Mojo.
Nice. Hojo. Yeah, I've got all 3 of those already. I believe.
John Longbox,
Yeah, double check.
$6,671. Just keeps growing. He's starting to fulfill all that. Immortal Rising 2, Burnt Offerings, funding. It's on storefront, 18% over on Fund My Comic. He might be on another platform. I can't remember. $178 over there. Put it on multiple platforms. It can take away. Cecil up to $55,011.25 on Crash
Awesome.
Grab.
Congratulations, Cecil.
$1,053.
Who's that?
Fembat.
Fembat. Oh, okay. Awesome. Congratulations, Apex.
Like
what was his goal? Was it
1,000?
1,000? Okay, so he's already reached his goal then. So good deal.
Yeah. His stretch goals very lofty. But you know they are what they are.
Yep.
$5,000 if we want to ever see a Dan Lawless Fembat trading card. Maybe
if I actually had any money, I'd be interested in buying that trading card art, but I don't know if I can afford that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's too pricey yet.
I don't know if he probably did it digital.
I'm not sure. Does Dan mostly work digital? I guess so. Huh?
He works both ways. Yeah, he does. He mostly works digital, I think, but he does both things. I think most artists do.
Oh yeah, Terry, I saw you over there earlier, so I hope you got a chance. Send a message to Dillard, and you can jump on board for Canadian.
Dillard, Apollyon 20XX. They were on with us just a few days ago. Godfoe Universe. Yep. Over on Fund My Comic, $105. Sorry about that. Phenomenal Tales. They were Patrick Quinlan's book. Yep. Over there. 44% there. 2,177. 11 days to go.
Ooh, all right. We might have to start pushing Patrick a little bit.
Well, I mean, we had him on just the other day, so yeah.
I'd move and maybe just start breaking his trailer into the rotation.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll try and once I get my X set out, I'll try and get Peter on because he was part of that. Did the cover, the main cover.
Right.
Did some other stuff for him.
Yeah, I love Pete's stuff. So that'd be great.
S.A. Cooper. When I say S.A. Cooper, do you know what that is?
S.A. Cooper.
Telepathic Bunny. That's his name.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
$1,916 for community service preambles. He shortened the title on that, which I think was a good move.
Yeah, I think it rolls off the tongue a little better.
Yeah, the other was a little lengthy.
Kind of
Titan Mouse of Might, Gary Shipman's $2,582 over there on Fund My Comic.
Oh,
excellent. Just throwing out some numbers here to some campaigns. Chrome Dog #1. I know at this point it's been over there for a while on storefront, but he's raised about $1,000 over on Fund My Comic. The rest was over on Indiegogo, but $4,733. He's not that far away on Chrome Dog #1 of hitting 5,000.
Wow, that's great. Oh, Rex messed something up again. Mr. Technology over here.
What did I mess up?
I don't know, your Twitter, your X somehow.
Oh yeah, I'm just signed into under my name. Um, that's why I couldn't get on Topicless last night. I've got to nuke that account and get on my main account because
Well,
I've
can't you
got
just
hmm?
search Double Flyer Twitter first and then jump in there and then do your stuff? Or I don't
You
know.
can't switch. No, I mean you
No.
had to sign out and sign back in under that, and yeah.
Right, I got you. Okay.
I went through this once before and was able to get back on my main account. Should have nuked I don't know how to nuke my old account, but Arc Fire issue 1, Kevin Davis's book over there, $170, 34% funded. I think he's on multiple
Uh-oh.
platforms with that. We'll get down
Yeah,
to
because
Dave here
I've already
eventually.
got his I think first, was it the first two Arc Fires? I think I got the first two already.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's Dave's. Of course, Hex Allen's Mail's books over there, Nephilim Squadron. I backed it fully, both covers.
Cool.
Already got it in. Already got them printed up. Kelsey Shannon's book, $21,407 on storefront. His Scribbles layout and design works.
Oh,
Book.
okay. That's not bad.
Unconditional Shove, Volume 1, second printings up there as well on
Yeah,
storefront by Broken Comics Entertainment.
fun
That's a
book.
fun read, I bet.
Yeah, I like that one. Arc Fire 2 isn't out yet, Kerry? I could swear I got 2 issues of Arc Fire. No, I'm thinking of, never mind. I've just got the first one. Yep. I was thinking of the other,
okay, you got the first.
Never mind. I'm confused.
This is in euros, but don't even know how to read that. So I'll just leave that up to you. But it is funded over there. 29 backers, additional backers over there.
1,200. Huh?
38 euros.
Okay, 1,238 euros. 124% there. Awesome.
Get Perfect 10 Book 5 with an exclusive and rare Fund My Comic cover by legendary artist Alan Goldman and inker Thiago. Okay, Gnomes. Only available. It's something like that. Anyway, we'll play.
Thiago.
Great comprehensive universe, great coloring, great stories, great character design. What else you want? Short stories, long stories, crossover stories. Genuine comics. Very few creators are doing it as well as Dave.
Yeah, they're knocking it out of the park every time.
On a consistent basis, delivering quality every day, every time.
Oh, that's a nice bird type character there. I like that.
That one other character reminded me of that one of Dan Fraggus somewhat.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
one that had the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, both look great.
Let me back it up and
Keep
show
up
you.
the great work,
You might even
too.
know the character's name. Right there. The guy in purple with the gun.
You get the bar in it. Cable? No, you're not thinking of Cable, are you?
No, Fraggus character that leaps around and stuff. That's kind of purple.
You're
Pineapple
shit.
Perception.
Yeah. God dang it. I can't remember his name right off the bat here. It's shoot.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
female bird character. I must concur. That is a
Yeah.
nice character, and I like the other female character too. They're each
Mhm.
character kind of distinctive, different powers and stuff. I love it.
Yeah,
My
I'm
jam.
always attracted to the winged characters, and that's a nice take on it. Yeah, I like
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She almost looks like Gossamer. Like her name ought to be Gossamer. Something
it. Yeah, but that don't sound very
feminine.
impressive. Awesome. That was
Well,
the Big Monster's name on Bugs Bunny. The one with it's all hair with the gym shoes. Chases him around the castle.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his name. It's Gossamer.
Um, we could call it Paragon, I guess. Peregrine. There we go. He says, "How
Yeah.
about no?" Like Peregrine Falcon, I guess, right? So it's usable.
My daddy said, "You ain't got nothing to say. Nice to say. Don't say nothing at all."
Don't say it at all. That's right. Yeah.
Ooh.
That never stops some YouTubers. I'm just saying.
Mhm. A roast. Oh,
All right, I took that campaign down before I wanted to. Sorry, Dave.
Ooh.
I'm looking for it now over on Fund My Comic without doing a search.
What are you doing, you weenie?
I'm roasting.
Oh, but speaking of roast,
Turn me over.
I picked up a
roast
nice
style.
prime rib roast for Christmas dinner today. Oh, baby.
Well, a week from now is going to be Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm. I am aware.
Coming up quickly. Yeah. Well, when you have significant others that you have to buy for in your family, you're definitely going to take more note
Dude,
of it.
I saved a buttload of money on meat today. If it wouldn't have been on sale when I got it now, it would have been $75 more than what I paid.
Well, I noticed the other day when I went out and about, let's see, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before yesterday, which would have been Monday. Monday, I got out and gas was like $2.38. By the end of the day, it was $2.40 something. And last time I looked, it was like $2.60 something. So I got it just right at the bottom before it started going up later that day. And
cool. Yeah.
Days since then. So
yeah, I don't know for whatever reason, but we had prices go down right after the election for about 2 weeks, and now the last couple of weeks they're steady climbing again. I think, they're just trying to do as much damage as possible before January.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was going to happen. There's going to be, but look at this. Look at this exclusive Fund My Comic cover. A perfect 10.
Yeah,
You like some booty? There's some booty.
Watch that booty.
I like that sort of cosmic starry character back there with the glowing lance. The bow staff.
Oh, up to the left over there. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I mean, he's just got such interesting characters. What can you say, man? They're all diverse and different. And there's a lot of them. I mean,
yeah. They built up quite a little universe over there right now, so it's looking good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. 2 is in production. Okay. I got confused with another campaign carry. Sorry about that. Thought I was waiting for number 3, but I'm waiting for number 2.
Oh. But now, I mean, is that funded yet? It's not. I mean,
it's not out yet. I don't think he hasn't. He's funding another book right now.
Right.
Carrie just mentioned it.
Havoc, wasn't it?
Havoc. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. Shadowline here, but now the other character had the lion on his belt buckle. I noticed
Oh, cool.
the Flying
Yeah.
Dutchman. See, he's got the lion on his belt buckle.
Ah,
So
maybe they
you'd think maybe the
connected somehow.
lion Shadowline would have that, but he doesn't, which is cool. I mean, you know, they're both. I'm sure there's a reason. You know.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing they have some kind of connection or something.
Yeah, I just like the diversity of what he does and good solid designs. You know.
Oh, yeah. And whoever his colorist is spot on too, man. Great color work.
The thing of it is, you can have great looking characters, and I'm sure he does, but it all comes down to characterization, storytelling, and really, infusing personalities into these characters. That should be the main objective of any writer, I think, to get you to care about the characters, which, when you go out when you go out in the wintertime, it's cold. You have to kind of cold start sometime your engine. It's just like a comic book, You have to lay a good foundation and then you can build upon that. Not going to come overnight, but you can do it.
You can
You know what you're doing. And so far it looks like he knows what he's doing because he's got some good looking product here, I mean, I like the new use the P word, the product
the
word.
new villain that he's introducing looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the plot thickens, as they say, So, that's on my bucket list. On down the road, one of these days, I and Dave will do a crossover or something. We'll do something together, maybe, hopefully. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
You never know what the future holds.
It's ever changing.
It is ever changing, yes. I mean, changes for me every day. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I got nothing. And then sometimes I'm just sitting there writing. Like I said, on the bog supplement yesterday and on the roustabouts today. So, which is good. I'm making progress on both. And I'm very happy with the progress. Especially the quantum leap that I took with the character of Midnight today, I think you're really going to dig on what I've got planned. And I will tell you after the show if you don't run off, Shadowhawk.
Already then?
Pale Rider says, I got a mini computer for my mother, and that little thing is badass. It was only $170. Totally recommend for an everyday use computer option, especially if you already have a monitor. Cool.
Awesome, bro. Where'd you find this thing?
Yeah, send me some. I'd definitely look into it for that price.
There you go. Yeah, and you already got a monitor and everything, Rex, and a mic, right?
Oh, or yeah.
You're not using the mic on your computer, right?
I jack it in on a multiple port to my tower. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then are you using the Wi-Fi? I think that's why the quality is bad. Yeah. Sometimes I need to kind of go more direct.
Sound connection would be better. Yeah.
Woo! Christmas vacation officially begins. Mrs. Good Stuff says.
All right, party time.
Hey, Mrs. G.
Hey, Miss Good Stuff. I got till Friday, and then my Christmas vacation begins.
Till Friday, okay. Shadowhawk, you can pre-order Shapeshifter, or no, I'm sorry, Skin Shifter on Kevin's website here. And there's the link.
I'll pop in there after the show.
I keep forgetting to watch that course, my X is messed up right now. I've got to rectify that.
Oh my
Uh,
excellent
Shadowhawk, do
living.
you want Skin Shifter pre-ordered link to your Insta? It's $10.
Yeah,
Do you want
shoot
to
it
do
over
it?
to me, Carrie. Yep.
Yeah, make it easy on him. Shoot, yeah.
Hi, Mrs. G. Always good to see you. Where's Mr. G? He can't be far behind.
Lurking.
Hey, you don't let a fine lady like Mrs. G go too far.
I know, short leash is required.
Somebody try to swoop in on her, you ain't careful.
Maybe studded choker, you know, something very
Jesus,
sexy.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
now I'm turning red.
Have you seen the album cover? It's called Smell the Glove.
It's called Scratch and Sniff.
I don't know if you get that one or not, Rex. That's an old Spinal Tap reference.
Oh, okay. I've listened to Spinal Tap, but yeah, I'm not up on it like you are. He's watching
Okay.
TV. Well, there you go. Good pursuit. I was watching TV earlier, as I was saying, and I'll be watching The Deputy, which also has Henry Fonda in it. I found the complete series of The Deputy. I
Oh,
watched some individual episodes of that
I don't know if I ever
on
saw any
another
of
collection. So
those.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know
know.
if I've seen
I
them.
need to just take out some time and put my multi-regional player, hook it up. See if I've got batteries for the control and all that, and just switch out, because I'm really wanting to watch The Abominable Snowmen that I bought a while back, and finally Elsie sent me through the mail. That's a Doctor Who story that was lost except for one episode, and they animated it. I'm really wanting to watch that. So
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's one that I don't have the audio to, so I don't know that story, and I would like to see it.
Thank you, Pale Rider.
That would give me so much more options. When it doesn't have play all, and I've got a lot of collections that don't have a play all button.
Yeah.
I have to totally get Abby up out of my lap every time to push play on different episodes and stuff. It's not, and if
Oh, you don't have a remote for it?
I do, but it doesn't respond. So
Try putting a new
no.
battery in.
No, it's more than that. I've checked it out a long time ago, and it just, for some reason, I don't know what the problem is. It's above my pay grade. So I'll probably just switch that out with the multi-regional, and that one will have a remote control. Then I can navigate around my desk,
Oh, there you
right
go.
now I can't. It's pretty pitiful. And
Yeah, it's a pain in the
my
butt.
multi-regional player upstairs with the bed in the bedroom went kaput finally, but I only gave $25, and that was it shipped to me. I think it cost me only $25 to it like I got my use out of it,
Right.
but for one day it just wouldn't play anything, so it just spins and spins and spins and says no disc. So I don't know what the problem is, but
I'll be right back, Rex. Give me a minute.
the other one's a little bit more complex too, and that's one reason I haven't got. I watched The Deputy until they came in with the non-binary stuff. There we go. Sent you about the link on X for the mini computer I got. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm gonna have to nuke my old account and get on my regular account so I can see that, and that 17 edited minutes of The Good and Bad and Ugly that, of course, I can, from my other account, go on X and just Clint Eastwood and see his recent posts, because he is over there on X. That's why I haven't watched it, because I'm signed into the wrong account. Clint Eastwood. And he posts pictures of him and different things going on. Clint Eastwood. There we go. Director, actor, producer. There we go. I'll follow him on that. Clint Eastwood Jr. #2. On now on digital. Okay. Let's see where he put the good, the bad, and the ugly. He posted a picture of him with Charlton Heston. That's always pretty cool. Wow, makeup test shots that were created for a fistful of dollars. Wow, where he's all beat up and whatnot. Came through the desert. Son Scott with the Mule at the Mule premiere. I've got the Mule in there. I may rewatch that. Pretty good movie. Here he is with Chevy Chase in '87. That's cool. Don Rickles and Marv Griffin. Scott's GT. Wow, nice car.
One moment.
Picture of him and Burt Reynolds. What else we got? I'm looking for that good and the bad and the ugly footage. There he is in Kelly's Heroes. Dirty Harry. Hard to beat good and bad and ugly, but and it kind of flopped. The not the good and the bad and the ugly that took off. That was no problem with that. But they thought they were getting a long movie with what was it? It happened in the West. I knew I should have had the movie collection here. Once a time in the West. Didn't go all action with that, and so it kind of flopped all around the world. Unfortunately, but definitely it was big in France. Timothy Olsen in the house. Who you calling ugly? He posts quite a bit. Clint Eastwood, The Gauntlet. I don't know if I've seen that. That's got a Frank Frazetta, artwork to the poster. I guess I could bring that up. I don't know why it's got remake on it. Have you seen The Gauntlet? I think I showed that not too long ago, the Frank Frazetta poster. Well, as you know, I have a lot to say about pretty much everything. Yeah. Fistful of Dollars trilogy is awesome. Yep. Definitely. Pale Rider. That was a good movie. Having the right hat, with your characters in the Westerns is key. You got to have a good hat. A lot of history. I mean, gosh, a lot of history. Here's a picture of Clint Eastwood training in karate at La Costa, California, January 1st, 1960. So, trained in some karate. It's cool. When he grows a beard and mustache, that really ages him up. I'm still. What is that? Doing a victory sign at a charity event. Yeah. Looks like he's standing in front of a phallic symbol. I'll just say. That's what I was saying. What is that? Um, yeah, I'm looking for that lost footage. Come on, man. He posts a lot. Let's see. Wow, man, I'm all the way back to September 23rd. I don't know if surely that was a new post. When I get over to my other account.
Yeah, no. Sorry about that. I had to show Mama Hawk the roast. Dude. Oh my God, I got a great deal. Almost 10 pounds of prime rib.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy that, baby. Oh my.
Your sinus is gonna be packed with meat.
My entire body is gonna become meat. I mean, it is kind of, right? You know what I mean. You still looking for the what you call it?
I'm just reading these things. It was the damn security questions that got me in trouble, and signed into my other account to begin with. If they hadn't, I mean, I was on X. I was using it. I was reposting, and all of a sudden it kicks me out and asks me security questions, which I can't answer. From Dirty Harry to his waistband being almost past his stomach. Hello, Mark.
Hey, guys. Long time no see.
It's got to be an exciting day for you. Last day of the campaign.
Yeah.
Big closeout.
The end of the line, I guess. And I've added something new.
Gotcha.
So
tell us about it.
So the feature perk now is a digital copy of the Doomsday Machine.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'd wanted to get the movie out to people this month, and it's taking me a while. I'm working on the making of documentary, which is harder for me than making a movie.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm not interested in how it's made because I had to do it. So it's like going back and having to relive painful memories. So, but I'm working on that, and I thought, before Christmas, I want to get this out to people so they can see it. So everyone who's getting a physical copy of the Doomsday Machine, and anyone who does this digital copy perk, I'm going to be sending out the movie in the next week.
Wow. Okay.
And so there'll be
$10, right?
$10, yeah. So that's a digital. I had somebody because I was plugging the fact that it was ending. I guess my camera is just not going to work. I was plugging the fact that it was ending and posted an update to some of my old Kickstarters, and somebody said, that they had gotten I'd offered digital copies of both of the previous movies when I did those campaigns, and they said, I don't see a digital copy for this one. And I thought, well, I can do that, and why not just go ahead and be able to send it out to people so that they can see the movie before Christmas.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to ask you how your premiere went at the convention in Dallas.
Oh, it went pretty well. Of course, it was not. It was on a Friday evening, so it was not super crowded. But I knew that going into it. I knew most of the celebrities were going to be there Saturday and Sunday, and but I had a small crowd, and little bit of a technical issue. But they played both movies, so they played The City on the Edge of Foreclosure, and then they played The Doomsday Machine, and when they started playing City on the Edge of Foreclosure, so they had a setup where they had a screen with projectors on either side. So they had 2 screens on either side of the auditorium, and then they had a sound system, of course, and they were sending it out from a computer backstage. But the sound went immediately to the sound system, but the picture had to go through like a switcher to go to those 2 projectors. So the sound was coming a little bit faster than the picture.
Wow.
So I'm backstage, I'm behind the screen, and it was out of sync. It wasn't badly out of sync, but it was out of sync, and I'm going, oh no. So they were able to kind of accommodate, to figure out a way to
compensate a little bit.
Compensate for for the delay, and so it wasn't as bad for the Doomsday Machine. But I did get to peek out on the audience and heard their laughter is where I was hoping they would laugh. And but then the wild thing was that you had mentioned before the idea about getting a table, and I just thought, well, those are always expensive. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Well, like a day or two before that, they said, oh, we've got a table for you. And I was like, because I'd made some postcards, and I emailed them and asked them. I said, hey, can I hand out these postcards, put them somewhere that people can take them? And so they came back and said, yeah, you got a table. Wow. So it wasn't a big convention. So I go in and I find my table, and now all the celebrities weren't there yet, but my table was shared a corner with Gates McFadden.
Wow.
The Beverly Crusher from The Next Generation. And across from me was Ethan Peck, the guy who plays Spock in the new things. He's Gregory Peck's grandson. And so they had a few. Like I said, the bummer was that the celebrities weren't there until Saturday. So there were no celebrities watching my movie. I kind of hope maybe
Gates McFadden was, at a local convention down in Little Rock or somewhere. I think it was Little Rock here. So she's getting around the convention circuit for sure if she's coming to Arkansas. So how many people you reckon was there at the premiere of both of those? Or at least
I didn't count, but I'd say it was probably under 40. It wasn't a big crowd.
Okay. Lucky small crowd.
A lucky small crowd, yeah. Who I think had never heard of the Star Trek before. But I did since I had the table. I really didn't have anything to sell, but when I found out I was going to get to sit there around all the Star Trek actors, I thought, hey, I got like a front seat just to gawk at them. So
yeah.
And so
did you get any autographs or anything there, Mark, or you don't care about autographs?
I'm not a big autograph person, but I did. So they had a guy there named Sean Kenny, whose name wouldn't be familiar to anybody, but he was the only guy from the original series. He was in a few episodes as, the guy sitting in Chekhov's chair kind of thing.
Okay.
But he looked a little bit like Jeffrey Hunter, who played Captain Pike in the pilot. So when they did that 2-parter, The Menagerie, where Captain Pike is all burned and he's sitting in that sort of space wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's him. So
oh wow.
So
okay.
I did go ahead and get his autograph, and I took a picture with him just because I figure, these guys from the original series are not going to be around for very much longer. But I don't know. I'm terrible at talking to the celebrities because I don't have anything to say, and I'm very introverted, so I'm not like, hey, how you doing kind of guy. So I kind of was quiet. But then on Sunday, I said, darn it, I'm going to regret it if I don't. So they weren't crowded on Sunday. So if nobody was at their table, I went up and I talked to several of the things. I talked to Gage McFadden for a small amount of time. She was really nice, and
Yeah, she was. I liked her on the show. She was cool.
yeah, and well, the thing that since my table was right next to her, I have a banner stand from when I first did a Mutt Time. So I went ahead and pulled that out since I had a table. So I was able to point over, and she had noticed it. But you know what I completely forgot to talk to her about was she used to work for Jim Henson.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was like a choreographer, and she worked on like Labyrinth and those kind of things.
Oh,
and
that would have been cool, man.
I wish I'd remembered
Yeah.
to say, hey, the puppet stuff, and maybe talk about that. But now on
the show, didn't she and Patrick Stewart have a thing? The captain and her were kind of boyfriend girlfriend for a little while.
They were kind of, it was that will they, won't they kind of thing. But then in like the finale, which was set in a possible future, they had gotten married and divorced. And wow. When they did Picard season 3, they not only did it that they had been together and separated, but they had a son. So.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you, is that where the Captain Kirk's son, or not Captain Kirk? What the hell was his name?
Picard.
Captain Picard. Yeah.
Picard. Because he all of a sudden had a son in an episode, and I didn't know where he came from.
Yeah, well, I think they had a fake son. They did like an episode in the original Next Generation where there was a guy that they thought was the son, but it turned out to be something else. I don't remember now. But this was in the new Picard show they did a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I must have just heard about it or something, because I don't know. What did you think about Picard? Did you like it, Mark?
So I did not like the first 2 seasons, but I really liked the third season. The third season was basically Next Generation reunion. They got the whole crew back together. They even figured out how to bring Data back to life. And to make it even more nostalgic, you find out that Geordi had actually taken all the parts from the Enterprise D and had rebuilt it at this Starfleet Museum thing. So they got to take the Enterprise D out again. So it was, yeah. And of course, it ended up that the bad guys were the Borg, and they had some of the characters from some of the previous stuff. So you got to have that one big last reunion of everybody.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I totally missed that.
Yeah, that was a good one. And one of the guys who was in it, I don't know what show he was on besides that. But he was also there, and I talked to him for a couple of minutes. But it was I don't know. There's a weird thing where it's really cool. I finally have it done. I'm getting to show it to people, but then it's like it's just over with. So it's kind of anticlimactic. You just go, okay, well, they watched it, and now it's over. But people came by my table all weekend, and I got to talk to a bunch of people and tell them about it. And a lot of people had never heard of it and seemed to be interested in it. And,
I would like to officially say, I told you so. You should have been ready to sell some products.
You did, in fact, tell me something.
Yeah.
Gary, I
have a solid track tablecloth. Of course, not knowing the table size, but standard table size,
Yeah.
Rack, I don't know.
Yeah, you usually get either 6 or 8 foot tables, and they're, I think, usually like 30 inches wide. So
I think they're pretty standard, the depth part of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Klingon
I mean,
is
all
with a
those.
K, Katie or Carrie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I
Probably
do
spelled
not
it
know
wrong.
how to
Yeah.
how to speak Klingon. No.
I can go.
Gok. I know Gok. Gok is
Yeah.
a dish that they eat, which is basically live worms. Alien
Yes.
worm. Yeah.
Panfa.
It's purple.
Is that wait? No, that's Klingon.
No, that's
That's
Vulcan.
Klingon. Yeah,
Panfar.
that's what she's talking
Oh,
about.
that's
Do you
Vulcan.
speak
Yeah, the
Klingon?
Panfa. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's Vulcan. Yeah, Ponfar is
Yeah.
I'm all confused.
where
The
they don't have to take Viagra every 7 years, you know.
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
But they do
Yes.
have to breed or they die. They have to go back
That's
to
right.
home. Yeah.
Right, but didn't that also have something to do with why Spock and Captain Kirk were in a battle to the death because Spock was horny or something? Or am I getting that confused?
Yeah, so they went back to Vulcan for him, and he had been already betrothed to this T'Pring woman.
Yeah, hot
And
little Vulcan lady.
but when he gets there, she says, look, I don't like you. There's another guy that I like better. And so,
Oh damn! I forgot about that part.
basically, so basically, he has to fight to win her, and she picks Kirk as her champion.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. I remember now because she's like she didn't want her boyfriend to get killed, so she picked Kirk to fight.
Right.
It's
She
those
said,
Kirk pheromones, I'm telling you.
yeah,
Dude, man, Kirk had
Her
away with those alien ladies, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
her explanation was that that if Kirk had won, Kirk wouldn't want her, so she'd still be able to stay with the guy that she had. And if
Right.
Spock won, Spock would still go back on the Enterprise, so she'd still be with the guy that she did.
It was a
Right, yeah,
win-win situation for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she totally picked the serve herself option on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But the gag in it was that McCoy had given Kirk a knockout shot, and under the guise that he was that it was to compensate for the lower oxygen level or something. And so Spock thinks that he killed Kirk.
Right.
And that's they have like the Vulcan priestess who he goes up and he says,
And
"Live
then
long."
Spock beams up to the ship and shows emotion.
Yes.
Jim!
Yes.
Surprise and emotion. Maybe a little bit too much.
Yes.
In that episode.
But there's a great line because the Vulcan priestess goes, "Live long
Got
and
the layout.
prosper."
But
And
oh,
and
there it is.
Spock,
Was that me or
Spock
you,
says-
Rex?
Spock says, "I shall do neither, for I have killed
Right.
my captain and my
Mhm.
friend."
What was your question?
Great episode.
Shadowhawk?
Shadowhawk?
I don't know. Anyway,
But that episode is a Mutt Time, which a Mutt Time is a parody of.
mhm.
So the first Star Trek is a parody of that episode.
Geordi seems a cool character. Have you any character like him in Star Trek, Mark?
Well, so I've been toying with the idea of doing the Next Generation, so that might happen in the near future. But right now I'm just doing parodies of the original series. So they don't. Well, Geordi was like the chief engineer, so that would be the closest to like Scotty on the original series.
You know what would be cool is sort of like a computer malfunction that is affected by a time-space wave or something. And so you get anybody that's been in a transporter, which could be Scotty, could be LaForge, could be somebody on Voyager or any of the series mixed up, could have them in a mashup of different characters. And they might just
they
appear
did that.
and disappear, whatever.
Yeah, they did that in Voyager. They had two of the characters get merged into a combined character. And
amalgamated.
Yeah, the captain had to make the decision to basically kill him so that they could have the two people back.
And what was that on? I forget.
That was Star Trek Voyager.
Voyager. Okay.
Yeah, they mixed Tuvok, the Vulcan science officer, and
that's right. Yeah, and he was like, "I have a right to live."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The cook, basically.
Right. Yeah. Wasn't it Neelix? Was that the name of it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they mixed them, and it was like
I forgot about
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did do an episode like that, and
they had a black actor playing, so it was like a mix-up, on the visuals of the character. Yeah,
yeah,
because he had very compelling looking,
Yeah,
makeup,
it was I like episodes that they did like that, where they ask a hard question,
and
that
because I mean, if there's any sci-fi series, Star Trek's it for morality tales. I think for asking the hard questions for morality tales. Because it's kind of always been that to a certain degree.
Yeah, they were always morality plays. They were little things like that.
Let's see, things are just churning around in my brain so quickly. I'm wanting to ask you something, but I've not been able to put the brakes on to ask you, and I can't remember the question.
But so originally my thought was I wanted to see if I could have like maybe a Zoom call with the backers and show them the movie that way.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that it would end up being one of those things where I'd end up with choppy ass theater, and people would be like,
yeah.
Plus, you got backers from overseas as well as here. How do you figure out a time to do that?
Yeah.
And so when somebody asked about the digital copy, I said, well, that's perfect, because now they can watch a good copy of it, and they'll still have to wait to get the physical one until I can fulfill it. But at least they don't have to wait any longer.
Did you just put that up there today on the campaign?
Last night, yeah. So it's just
last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any backers on it yet?
The one person who asked for it did back.
Okay. Well, I mean, especially for international, digital.
Yeah,
is a good way to go.
Digital is a good option, because obviously you're not paying for shipping. I mean, one thing I do think I like being able to do the physical copy, because then it's kind of a collector's item. You get something that I don't make that many of them, so you have that kind of keepsake thing. But for just being able to see it, I think that's good. And then I've had a couple of people back the Blu-rays since I put that up, and they'll get it for free anyway. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you're
best of both worlds.
You're in time for Christmas. You got it completed, so that's got to be.
Oh, I can't tell you how great it felt to know that, because I want to say that the sound designer finally got the final mix of it for the. So she makes like a digital version, and then she makes one for the Blu-ray. And there's a difference in them. I think it mostly has to do with levels or something.
So when will you be fulfilling, Mark, or have you already started that process?
No. So the reason why I'm doing the digital copy is I'm working on a kind of making of documentary.
Okay.
And I want to put that on the discs so that ideally my plan is to break it up into 3 parts, so that people who got the DVDs from the last campaign, there would be part 1, part 2, and part 3, and then on the Blu-ray you'd have all 3 parts. But it's so hard to do it. I've sat down a couple of times and just recorded myself talking about it, and it's so weird to do that. Just sitting in an empty room by yourself going, well, I remember back when this idea occurred to me, or something like that. So I'm trying to do it a few times. So hopefully I can go through grab some sound bites, then put that together, and then put visuals to it. So as I can show, like, some of the models, some of the early versions of it, and things like that, and put it together. But I want to put that on the disc. I don't want to just send them the disc with just the movie. I wanted to have something on it. But I've been working on. I've made up some of the screens for the menus, and there's an old program that I have that I've used to make the other discs. And thankfully, I have an old computer that I've got running on an old operating system because the program doesn't work with the new stuff. So that's what's. So I was really hoping not to be done, so I didn't have to work on it during the holidays. But I'm going to have to work on it during the holidays. So my hope is, if I have the week off between Christmas and New Year's, I'm hoping I can get that done, get the discs ready, and then I think it'll take about a month for them to be manufactured, and then I can start fulfillment.
Okay.
And of course, in the meantime, I have to reprint all of the 3D boxes because I had to change those.
That's going to be your most expense right there, right?
Well, it's going to be a time expense for sure. But it does kind of suck that I wasted the filament on the earlier version. But I do like the new box better, and I've got it. I've got a faster 3D printer now that can do it in about 5.5 hours.
Wow!
So that's not too bad. It took a full 21 hours before.
And we
Plus,
should
I had to
say
glue things
also
together.
you have a comic on and you have 3D ViewMaster.
The ViewMaster reel, yeah.
Yeah.
So the ViewMaster reel is done. I just have to order those. But the comic, I'm going back and forth. I don't know if I'm going to draw it or if I'm going to make it just like a photo comic. I haven't decided yet. Of course.
Okay, so you got the cover though.
Yeah, the cover. I got a friend of mine to do that for me, and I've got to look at my time. I was hoping to be done already with the discs and be able to work on it this month, but it looks like I'm going to do 27 copies, so it might not be worth it to put in the time of drawing all the pages. So I may just do the photo comic. I kind of left it vague, just so that I had options with that, because the photo comic, I have a version of it that I did when I was basically using it to make storyboards for the movie. And so there's work that's already done for it, but I don't know. It's kind of fun to be able to create the pages, because you can render out like a character with no background so that you can put them, in front of stuff, or have the things go from kind of do the comic book stuff you would do, but do it with the 3D characters. So there is fun to be had with doing that. And but part of me would like to do it drawn just because of the gold key thing. But I don't know. It didn't, obviously, and not a lot of people were excited about it. So I'm like, well, maybe that's more effort that I should put into it.
One thing that they did on 67 Spider-Man, they have one character running, at Spider-Man from the left and one at the right. It's basically the same animation of the same character, very actively running, but they flopped it. And so they come together, and of course he jumps out of the way and they hit each other, but it's basically the same animation. They just flopped it. That's genius, reuse of animation.
Yeah, Filmation used to do that a lot. They would have these really rotoscoped animation of like Tarzan swinging or running through the jungle, and then they could flip it.
Now
And
that's later in the 70s, because I've been watching
Right.
their very earliest stuff, which is season 2 and 3 of Superman, The New Adventures of Superman. That was
okay, yeah,
the
that was their
contract
first
that
one.
they got.
Yeah.
I think you were the one that told me maybe, but Joe Simon was an story editor on that.
I didn't know that, so it wasn't me. I know I've got Lou Scheimer's book, and
Oh, I'd love to have that thing. Yeah,
it's one of it. It might have been one of the Tomorrow's books. I can't remember, but that Superman, they basically hired a bunch of people to come and sit at desks to show the DC Comics people that they had this studio, which they really didn't have. They had to go out and hire people.
Ted Knight was one of those people.
Yeah. And so that was their first one. But the left and right thing, the Enterprise was that way. They could only film the Enterprise from one side. The other side had the cables and stuff coming out of it. So what they would do is they had decals that were reversed. And if they needed it to be going in the other direction, they would take off the ones, put on the reverse mirrored ones, and then they'd film that and flip it, and it would be right. And I think, too, I remember reading that the train that they had for Wild Wild West, that the number, they picked a number that would look the same way front and back.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that they could flip the film. I don't remember if it was like 888 or something like that. It was something where they could flip the
and
flip it on the film
and not have to think about that in continuity later.
Right, and they didn't have to go in and change the numbers.
That's on my short list to watch. I've got all 3 seasons of that, but and it's a good Western, but it's definitely spy. Gadget, MacGyver, it's definitely different for not your typical Western.
No, it was
but
definitely
I'll
more
eventually get around to it. As I said earlier, I'm going to start watching The Deputy. I've watched a few episodes earlier this year, and that's got Henry Fonda in it. I was saying earlier, I watched once Sergio Leone's film Once Upon a Time in the West that has Henry Fonda as a killer bad guy.
Yeah.
He shoots children, folks.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a bad guy in that. And you would think, and he said, I grew, he hadn't watched any of the Clint Eastwood stuff that he had done at that time when he was approached. And somebody said, oh, it's him. Just do it. Say you'll do it, And so he signed on with Charles Bronson and James Papard. And
didn't
I forget the Italian actress.
Did he have like a mustache, or did he have his hair colored black or something? I remember there's something different about him in that movie.
Yeah. No, well, he said this was on some of the commentaries, and I was going to say that about your own Star Trek thing. That's what I really like, the behind the scenes commentaries and breakdowns of the movie. I really get, and that on Doctor Who too. Most of my knowledge comes from those commentaries on all the discs. Because I didn't grow up with Doctor Who. That's a British TV show. And I mean, I've watched a little Tom Baker, but I didn't know the rich history of Doctor Who till I really started collecting and watching those commentaries. But anyway, he showed up with, like, he had brown contact lenses and grew a mustache for it or something. He was always stubble brown, dark mustache, kind of dirty, gritty, but all the characters were. When he went out to Monument Valley, he actually got some dust and dirt and brought it back to Spain so that it would match up, the red.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
You want
was
to
a
make sure that the
perfectionist.
dirt, it looks the same as the other dirt.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very distinctive out in Monument Valley. It's like red
True,
clay
yeah.
dirt, dust. And he definitely, when you get that crane shot at the train station and you go over and you show the building town, he's definitely scattered bags of red, out on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a scene where they go into the saloon or whatever, the outpost type saloon, and they have dust blown in with the guys that come in the doorway, and that's from Monument Valley. I think
That's
it's wild.
awesome. Yeah, I would have never thought about that, but I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense. That
Well, you had to match it up because you're definitely different place in Spain looks differently. It may look desolate, but the clay and everything looks different than out on Monument Valley. And he had some of those long vista shots and the beginning shot in America. In fact, that was the first Italian Western shot in America, part of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he wanted those, John Ford
Yeah,
mesas
those,
and rock
right, yeah.
formations and stuff that are very distinctive only
Yeah.
in Monument Valley, so
Right.
yeah, I mean, that gives it an authenticity. I mean, but yeah, Henry Fonda is definitely, you're not expecting it. When I first watched it, which this collection came out around 2002 or 2003, so I probably first watched the movie, unless I saw it on TV and forgot about it, in its full form, probably back in the early 2000s when the collection came out, and I got it. And when that camera comes around and shows you that it's Henry Fonda with his blue eyes, because he said, no, shave the mustache, get rid of the brown eyes. I want people to know it's you. And, because he always plays a good guy.
Right.
When the camera comes around, it shows Henry Fonda. You're like, that's Henry Fonda. He's a bad guy. It does blow you away, with the black.
It does. Yeah, he's playing against type. Definitely.
He is, yeah.
I was trying to remember because I think I must have rented it back in the VHS days or something, because I know I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
In there you got Charles Bronson. He plays a harmonica, and that's the whole thing about that, is that when Henry Fonda was a younger man, he was still a bad guy. He was hanging his brother. His brother is on Charles Bronson's, although it's a young kid that plays him. That's why he doesn't recognize him in the whole movie. Henry Fonda's trying to figure out, who is Charles Bronson? Why does he want to mix it up with me? And he has his brother standing on his shoulders. Well, eventually, he either pushes his brother away, so he hangs himself or whatever. And before that, he sticks that harmonica in his mouth, entertain your brother.
Okay.
And so he always wears it around. And anytime and with this movie, he actually had the music, which there's 3 scores of music. There's one for the woman, one for Charles Bronson, which is the playing of the harmonica. There's the bad man music for Henry Fonda, thank you.
Yeah.
And there's George Papard's sort of outlaw music. So, or not George Papard, but Rhubarb. What's his name? He was basically, at that time he did Broadway stuff, but so that Jason Rhubarb or Rhubarb.
Rhubarb. Yeah. He was. I know who you're talking about.
Rhubarb. Only I would call him Rhubarb. But anyway, they got 3 musical themes, and the music was there when they're acting, and they just shot the video visuals, so they didn't have to worry about boom placement or shadows or anything like that. They just shot it and dubbed the whole movie, I guess.
Yeah, I think he did all of this. I think Sergio Leone did all of his that way, because then they would dub in. Yeah, because you were going to be dubbed into different languages anyway, so he would just film without getting.
Well, I mean, he used a lot of Italian actors, so they'd be speaking Italian, didn't know any English.
Right.
the American actors would know American, of course, but yeah, it was a mixture. He spent 4 months filming that movie and 6 months editing the movie. I
Oh,
can very well
wow.
see that.
Yeah. I can't imagine what that was like back in the day when you actually had to cut, like I need 6 frames of this shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you
And
physically go in and cut the film in a film
yes,
cutter.
yes.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then you've got to like get a few more
Okay,
and glue those together. And yeah, that just seems like that must have been really tough
Think
to
about it. We'll
do.
never go. I mentioned this the other day more than once. We'll never go to the movies again and watch the film burn.
No,
You
but
know,
that's a good thing. Yeah, or to break.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
yes, that's a good thing, but it's something that dates us, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah. Or have
some,
those giant scratches. If you didn't go the first weekend,
yeah,
you by
people
the
will
time you'd
never get
see
to
it, it could be
experience that.
dirty. It would have those missing frames where it had broken and put back together, and the film would suddenly jump a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you'd have to wait. You didn't even have VHS at some point, so you had to wait for it to come on TV. Sometimes
yes,
that was cut down for commercials. So
right. Well, I was explaining that to somebody about Star Wars. I was explaining the fact that um, uh, the C3PO and R2D2, that originally they would write out the names. So like R2D2 was ARTOO
yeah,
DEETO, and
when it first
C3PO would be
started out,
SEE. Yeah, even though they did have the numbers and letters things, and I think that was their thought that they could trademark the names that way, maybe if they're, but I was explaining the fact that we knew that because we saw the movie in '77, and I saw it again in '78 when they re-released it. But then I didn't get to see it again until it came on like HBO, which was like '82 or '83 or something like that. I just had the novelization and the comics, and I would read those over and over again. So when I think C3PO, I don't think C-3PO. I think SEETHREEPIO.
there was actually a Star Wars connection on the commentary. He said that George Lucas looked at Leone's sort of long panning. I think it was that where she arrives at the train station at the beginning of the movie. She goes in the train station and you're looking through the window of the train station. He opens up the door on the opposite side and they go out. The camera pans up over so you get to see the shingles on top of the roof and everything.
Yeah.
And you get to see that town being built as they're walking
Right.
away and everything and toward the town. And that's where I was saying that there were splashes of red here and there that they must have distributed out from Monument Valley. Almost like a christening, from all the Monument Valley where John Ford shot so much and other, Howard Hawks and others,
Yeah, because you made me think when you're saying it wasn't a crane shot or anything, but there's that thing where he built the set of like the house so that in the Searchers where John Wayne can just open his door and those were right outside the door. You remember that shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They even had the Claudia Colbert or whatever her name is in the movie. She's an Italian actress. She kind of does this in the framing, which kind of like this, where she stretches her arms out, and it's almost like a Searchers moment in the doorway.
Yeah.
There toward the end of the movie, I thought of the Searchers when I saw that framing.
Yeah, I think it just came out yesterday in 4K. I'm excited about getting it because that's one of my favorite Westerns. I even read the book.
What's one of your favorite Westerns?
The Searchers.
The Searchers, yeah. I've got that with Christopher Pike.
Yes, Jeffrey Hunter was
Jeffrey Hunter and Natalie Wood, the young Natalie Wood.
Natalie Wood, yeah. And so I read the book too.
And Harry Carey Sr.'s wife.
Okay.
And that's at the end of the movie where he kind of grabs his arm like that and kind of walks away. supposed to be one of the greatest cinematic exits on film, they say.
Mhm.
At least in the westerns, where you're opening, like you said, opening, and you see that all in the background, and he's against that great backdrop walking away. He kind of grabs his arm. Harry Carey Sr. used to do that on film a lot. So that was kind of
Oh,
like his
okay.
silent visual tribute to his friend, now then dead actor. And his wife played the older Ma character.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's who she was.
Um,
I actually watched her in some Western TV show she was on, and I was
yeah.
like, I know who that is because of the search. Um,
But
you
yeah, in
know,
the book, John Wayne's character kills the girl.
oh yeah, it wouldn't.
When he finds her,
He
she's
wanted to in the film.
yeah. When he
Yeah.
finds her, she's been turned or whatever, and so
Mhm.
he kills her. And obviously, in the movie, they thought, man, that's just a little too much.
Yeah. Well, Jeffrey Hunter sort of intercedes, and they're like, "We'll take her home," because they spent, I don't know about in the book, but years. It
Yeah,
shows
that
in
was
different
the
seasons, like in the snow, and they've been
yeah.
searching for her a very long time to get her back.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I love that movie. It's big and
Mhm.
like I said, it just came out on 4K. I asked my mom for it for Christmas, so I've been holding off, hoping
There you go. Yeah.
that I'll get it. So, but yeah,
I know what I want, and I
what's
have
that?
most of it already, but individually, those seasons, like 3 seasons of Gunsmoke, will run you about 40 something dollars, $50 maybe. They've got the complete all 20 seasons of Gunsmoke. This is a great back scratcher. I got it Halloween,
Yeah.
by the way. And I've got a set of them.
Does all 20 season come in a box the size of a minivan? Or something?
No, they're like, I think what Walmart did was combine three, all the threes, but I didn't see the latter threes, which are
It's probably
I
where
haven't
they
even got up
stack
to
the discs.
Festus. I've
Yeah.
I've got like 11 seasons of it, and I've seen Festus play different roles, just not the role of
Oh,
Festus.
okay, yeah.
And talk about an actor that did a lot of work with John
Dennis
Wayne. He did.
Weaver. Yeah, Dennis Weaver was that guy before him,
Chester.
right?
Chester.
Yeah,
Walked with a limp. He was the
yeah.
deputy, and I haven't made it up to where Festus comes on. Actually, he was my favorite, but growing up. But now I
Yeah.
did like Chester too. In fact, later when I had a chance to bottle feed and raise a cow, I did. I named it Chester, even though it was a female cow.
Well, I'm sure they didn't care that, but clearly you allowed for the first trans cow. Well, so how much does it cost for 20 seasons of Gunsmoke? That can't be
$200.
cheap. 200. Well, I guess that's not bad for 20 seasons.
That's cheap for 20 seasons, and they're long seasons. They started in 1955.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think we talked about this.
Seasons back then were long. They were like 20. They were like 30 something episodes or something.
It was canceled by accident.
Was it?
Because when they did that rural purge where CBS got rid of all of their like hillbilly shows, they canceled Gunsmoke. But whoever was the head of programming didn't know that who's the head of CBS didn't know they did it because it was his favorite show. He wanted to keep it on the air, so he got mad when he came back and they had canceled Gunsmoke.
So it really could have went on past 20 seasons. It had hit color, and I reported the other day because I was talking Glenn Strange. I think you were in the chat that day.
Yeah.
That Glenn Strange died just a year or two prior to it ending.
Yeah, and
hey, Peter, aka Pad in the house, Acapad.
But I think we both probably had the same thing. In syndication, they mostly would show the color seasons.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you would see a lot of them. You'd see the later ones. Although, like the later seasons of Bonanza, I don't think I've ever watched. And I try to watch them every once in a while, and they just look
16
weird.
episodes. I mean, 16 seasons. Really.
Yeah, 16 seasons. Yeah, because well, there was a sort of line of demarcation where in the 60s TV shows they were color, but they still kind of had 50s sensibilities. And then there was just like there would just be like this one year where suddenly everybody had long hair and they filmed it in a different style and stuff. They didn't have Technicolor anymore, I guess. Like if Get Smart, you watch like I don't remember how many seasons Get Smart was, but let's say it was 5. I think the first 3 are like normal of what you think of Get Smart, and then like the last 2 seasons, he's got like a different car. Yeah, it's not. It changed. I always think because Star Trek got canceled around that time. Although the 3rd season was a little bit different. I do think if Star Trek continued, we would have seen much weirder Star Trek in like.
That's something I've seen.
71.
I've seen William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and the actor. He did a lot of westerns too. The guy that played Apollo.
Yes. I don't know his name, but I know the actor. Yeah.
In fact, he did one western scene I talked about not too long ago that he was in there with Leonard Nimoy. They were brothers. It was probably The Virginian. Some of those westerns, not all of them, but starting in like 1962, they were color. That's early color for TV.
Well, I think we've talked about before. There's a fascinating story with the guy who did Bonanza, where he wanted to do it in color, and NBC said no, and he said, "Well, I'll pay for the color, whatever the extra is to make it color. I'll do it," because he saw the future and he thought this is a smart thing to do. Yeah. And NBC was owned by RCA that made color televisions, and so Bonanza was like one of the first big color shows that was broadcasting color, and people bought color televisions to watch Bonanza.
But again, that was sort of mid. I'm not sure the year they started, but probably 65, but maybe 64.
No, it was before that.
Bonanza was?
I think so. I want to say it was late 50s. I'm about to Google Bonanza.
Close your eyes, folks. He's about to Google.
I'm Googling. It started in 1959.
Bonanza?
Yes. It ran to 1973. No, it was color. It was color the entire time.
Was all of them done in color?
All of them done. So that was the thing. About 2 years into it, RCA was making a ton because they were selling all these color televisions, and Bonanza was like the #1 show. And NBC came to this guy and said, "Okay, you owe us $2 million for the first 2 seasons being in color." And he said, "But you're selling all these TVs and it's the #1 show." And they're going, "Doesn't matter. You said you would pay for it." It took the guy 10 years to pay NBC back for that.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Count the cost, folks.
Yeah, that to me is crazy. They should have been, saying, "Look, we'll give you a bonus because we're selling."
And they've been capitalized on, because like on MeTV or whatever they call it, these different retro shows that people are more receptive to color, even old color, than they're going to be black and white.
Yeah, I know 20-somethings who've never watched a black and white movie.
I can't remember if our first TV was a Zenith or RCA. It was probably an RCA, but I can't remember. And I'm not sure what year we got it. I would really like to know that because a lot of the original Star Trek I probably watched on a very small screen TV, rabbit ears.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know what were the dimensions, 22, 21 inch TV screen.
Oh, they were really small back then. So
it got even smaller than that. I mean, the very first TVs had a screen about like that. And you talk about lines, and there wasn't much you could see. It was almost like radio theater for the mind, those early TVs.
you could have a console TV that was just 16 inches.
Yeah, and they were consoles. They were built.
Yeah, there was a piece of furniture, but it was a 16-inch screen.
Yeah, stereos. I mean, our record player had the speakers on the end and had the storage space for the records and had the record
Right.
player all. It was a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy now that I for my own Christmas present during Black Friday, Amazon had a sale on one of those digital projectors, and my 3D TV died a couple years ago, and I've bought a ton of 3D movies, and so this one did 3D, so I got it, and then I had to just get one of those cheap screens that's like it's basically a fancy sheet. It has like the grommets in it, and you tack it up to your wall or whatever.
Yeah.
But even with that, I could get it up to like 120 inches. And I'm sitting there going, in my tiny 1-bedroom apartment, I've got this 100-inch screen, and I was putting everything. I watched an episode of Star Trek, Spectre of the Gun, and I watched an episode of Gilligan's Island. I was just like, anything I could watch big, I was watching big. But it's crazy to think now that you have that. And back then, like you said, not only was it small, but the scan lines, and depending how good your signaling was, you could barely see what was really going on. We didn't know any better.
So when I see these collections of some of these old shows, and they go, we have restored it faithfully the best we could from the archive footage, but please forgive the imperfections. I don't care. It was probably better than what we actually saw on the old black and white TV shows.
Oh, far better.
Sets, yeah.
Well, sometimes to the detriment of it, because I know I was watching through. I didn't make it all the way through the show, but I was watching the seasons of Mission Impossible, and I remember there was this shot that they were supposed to be in this crypt, and they were opening this crypt, and they were moving the top of it, which was had the sound effect of being heavy. Stone on stone, but you could see splinters.
Wow. Yeah.
You could see that it was basically wood, that had been painted gray.
I've watched some westerns with some styrofoam rocks too. I watched one. I've been watching some old Buster Crab, buy war bonds even, type stuff during World War II. And they got like this boulder that's like pretty sizable, and like he's picking. I'm like, no way, man, no way can you pick that up? Maybe both of you might struggle, much less pitch it at somebody.
I'm sure it was made out of paper mache.
That wasn't very convincing.
When Star Trek came out in HD on Blu-ray, suddenly you could see a little line on Spock's ears. You could see the part where they glued on the ear tip. You never could see anything like that watching it on regular television back in the day.
It covered up a multitude of mistakes, and
right, and they counted on it. They knew we don't have to have. That's like if you ever see props from movies, or they might have a hero prop for a close-up that actually looks good, but all the other props look like crap. It's just like a piece of wood.
Mark, that's why I don't really give a crap about high definition, this, that. It was never meant. If that was the original vision, but with all these older shows, it wasn't the original vision that you see such depth of field and detail and stuff. And then it just, like you say, you can point out little things that you're really not supposed, or at the time
you weren't supposed to be able to see. I don't know. I go back and forth on it.
It takes you out of the experience.
Because the one thing it does well though is the new stuff. The colors are better, because we had a limited color palette. The NTSC, had very. I remember when I first got a Blu-ray, or an HD TV rather. I had the VHS of Superman, the movie, and the red cape looked kind of orange, and the blue of his thing was kind of aquamarine. And then I put in this Blu-ray, and suddenly it's red and blue, and I was like, wow, that's so. With the old shows, especially the color shows, those colors are vivid now. So But I mean, look, to be honest, even as a kid, I didn't really think Gilligan's Island was shot outside most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of a contained type set.
You could tell they were kind of, except for when they went down to the lagoon. And I've read that lagoon was in a parking lot, and that since the water didn't really move around, that it basically was like a swamp, and it smelled
Algae.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever they had to go in the water, it was like, the worst thing to happen to them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to show you my latest artist edition acquisition.
Okay.
This one's a monster. Actually, I'm not sure that I'm even strong enough to show it, but it's The Killing Joke.
Wow, sweet.
At actual size, and
Brian Bolland.
And it's not only just The Killing Joke, it's also a lot of his DC covers and stuff that he did.
I saw, Camelot 3000.
Camelot 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the early direct books of like 83.
Yeah, I think he was the first thing Bolland did for DC.
That's when I first noticed his work, was on Camelot 3000.
Yeah. But he did a lot of covers there for a while where he was just
and of course a British artist. He did the British magazines and stuff. I mean, him and Alan Davis and all these, even Alan Moore as a writer, all British, that we weren't really exposed to till later. Yeah, look at that Sergeant Rock. Yeah.
Look at how many lines he had to draw.
Hey, if you want to sell a comic, just have him do a cover for you.
Oh yeah. But he was one of the first people to switch to making art on the computer. He was drawing covers with a mouse back in the late 90s. So those don't exist. They're only digital. He didn't have original art for those. But yeah, I've always loved Brian Bolland, and going through these, and I love when they do this kind of stuff too, where they have the adventure comics and they've got the transparency with the trade, the stuff negative on image.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's the art, and then this has
and he did that one, okay, with Aquaman and Plastic Man. Wow, okay.
Yeah, that was probably one of his early
stuff.
Ones.
Yeah, early 70s. I mean mid 70s stuff.
Let me see,
like 35-cent price, right?
50 cents. So probably early
50
80s.
Cents. Okay. I see your Batman collection back there. Your 66 Batman collection.
Oh yeah, I do have that. It doesn't work anymore. It used to be you could press the button and it would do the na Batman. And I brought in my my other comic book rack.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
And well, I had it in storage at my sister's storage unit, and she needed to close it down. So suddenly I had to take everything back in. But what I thought about doing is, instead of putting real comics on it, I think I want to print out like famous covers, because I can just print the covers like on photo paper, the glossy paper or whatever, stick them in a bag with the board, and I can have like Action Comics #1.
I can't even do that. I can't even do that. If you board and bag it, it's too much for my spinner racks. They have to be in the raw. That's why I hate about it. But now you could certainly print it on stiff stock paper and have a filler box or something there to make it look like a whole, and just a cover, and do Action Comics #1. What, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
of course Action's going to be Golden Age size, but
I can print it at the. Why won't my camera work?
I don't know. I won't.
But I could print it at that size, so I can cheat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't know if you can tell, I have stretched mine a little bit so that they do fit the back.
Oh, that's a no. Those are probably vintage. Mine are too vintage. And Randy Zimmerman, I don't know if you heard, he said, "Oh, you got the rare one." because I've got the header that says "Hey Kids" and it's got Archie, Superman, and a couple other
Oh, it's got some of
characters on
the heads on it. Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And he said that one was kind of rare, so and probably in demand because it's got the characters on it. And I've
right.
got one rack that doesn't have a header whatsoever, so I'll probably do a Momentum Comics header, on it.
Yeah. Well, I did see on one of your shows somebody pointed out that Kickstarter with those new. Somebody was doing the new. Was it a Kickstarter or Indiegogo? I can't
I
remember what
think
it
that
was.
was on my Sizzle, which was Nerd Bacon a couple weeks ago with Luke Stone and Randy Zimmerman, and they were looking into spinner racks. Very
Yeah,
affordable, $300 something.
it was. Yeah, it wasn't expensive, and you could take it apart. And
Yeah,
it comes with a
and
carrying case.
now he's over in England, but Texas Dave, he just spent over $700, and he's had to wait like almost 8 weeks now to get it. He ordered it through American Diamond, and they were going to ship it over to UK Diamond and then get it to him.
Yeah,
He still hasn't got it, but he had to pay over $700 for his spinner rack.
that's
That
incredible.
dedication. I wouldn't spend that
Um,
much for a spinner rack. I would.
I got mine for free because the Junior Food Mart that would set them out by the dumpsters, and I went
Well,
there and
there
I
you
saw
go,
them,
man. No
and
brainer. Vintage spinner racks.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it was back in the early or mid '80s, and I had ridden my bicycle over, and
Cool.
went to the payphone, and I said, "Bring the van, bring the van,"
The
and
way I
so
wound up with mine, which are like yours, at least, hey kids, around that time.
uh,
Bought it in the 80s, sometime in the 80s, maybe mid to late 80s. Um, my local comic book store, he had a couple spinner racks, and when he got done with them and went to another shelving type thing, he did away with he asked me if I wanted to buy them, and I did. I don't even know what I paid for them, to tell you
yeah.
the truth. But I bought
Well,
the
I'm sure
spinner
they
rack.
did. I'm sure nobody thought they would be worth anything back
Oh, I
then.
did.
Oh,
Eventually, I thought, yeah. I actually, I'm kicking myself. I did try and buy it for $50. Didn't have a lot of money, but um, the proprietor said, "Well, where am I going to put my comics?" And I didn't really have if I
yeah,
would have been smart and thought the thing through. It's like, well, I'll get you another wire thing. I just want this vintage DC one. It had, it was sort of the stair stepped, type,
oh, okay, yeah,
very small, but it had the old 60s DC logo on it,
okay,
on the
yeah,
tin plate. That's how old it was, probably from the
yeah,
60s. I wish I could have picked that thing up. Wish I could have
yeah.
added that
I'm
thing.
guessing that these were probably from the '70s, and then by the time I got them in the early '80s, they were they were so old that they were tossing them out. And
You
I don't think
know,
they replaced them. I think they just started putting them
you can
on the
go on
magazine.
eBay. I know this was a few years ago. I mean, if you got disposable income, you got a pretty good income coming in or whatever. Even the most expensive of books. Um, Now I'm not talking Action Comics #1 and 9 point whatever,
Right.
millions of dollars, but most things are affordable, and those racks are too. That maybe some golden age racks, vintage, very rare. There may only be a
Yeah.
handful, if one or two examples of these things, and especially the nice ones with like fun comics, action comics, adventure comics, the headers on there.
Right.
3,000 something dollars. That's nothing. I'd pay that in a heartbeat if I had it.
Well, I don't think I could afford to do it. I was just looking on.
Well, I can't. That's why I haven't, pulled the trigger. But I'm saying if you've got a little bit of money, comics is overall, it's an affordable hobby, even though,
yeah, yeah, for most things.
yeah,
Well,
for
and
most things, even though uh, there are some great books out there in the last 40 years that's come out that are vastly undervalued, even key books
yeah,
like the first appearance of Harley Quinn. That is, I just sent mine off Should get it in like the end of January, beginning of February, hopefully in about 4 months, time. Get the first appearance of Harley Quinn. And the good thing is it's a spinner rack, a direct version. I mean, not direct version,
Oh,
but a
direct,
newsstand
yeah.
version. And that's
Yeah.
less than 1% of the print run. So it's really rare in that,
Yeah.
with that barcode.
Yeah, I do have that issue because I was surprised. I went to one of the conventions here and suddenly saw it up there worth everything. And I was like, wow. It never occurred to me that was the first appearance of Harley Quinn. I got it because it was the animated series. And I was big into Batman.
The way I got those is after my fire, I went out. I had an opportunity to buy out a local comic book shop down there in Truman, very small shop. He wanted to sell out. I bought him out for like $2,400. It wasn't a lot of money. I paid, 10 cents an issue for the stock, but it was all new stuff. But in that was the first appearance of Harley Quinn and some very, other Batman adventures that featured her. So some of her early appearances. So I scored on that front. And where I'm really going to make bank is that I've kept most of them. I haven't even separated them out from what I consider my collection. There's a lot of barcodes. I don't know where he got them from, but
must have just bought them from
the barcodes were, when the print run with the barcodes was lower, much lower.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's where I'm going to make bank. And on one Thor book, there's a color error on the cover.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know if they would grade it, but that's on my short list to maybe get graded.
Yeah.
And of course, I would point out the color error to them.
I was going to show you this. I know that they do this, and I think this is who did it. Yeah, I think.
Whoops. Wait a minute. I muted you by mistake. Hit the wrong button. Oh. There we go.
I think it's Comics Wellspring. I've heard of them doing this. This is the first time I've ever seen it. But they will print your comics. So these are these Jet Array that I got off of Indiegogo. But they put this protective sheet on it.
Right.
Which they have the little instructions so you can just yank it off.
Right.
But when you send it, you've got this protecting the cover.
Yeah.
So that if you're stacking or if you're doing a bunch of them or whatever, you whoops.
Whoa, or drop it.
Or if you drop it. But I think it's actually a kind of neat idea to keep the cover from getting scuffed up when you're sending it out to people. I was looking at some of my recent
what is it near me? You rip that off, huh?
I got my Kit Carter hardcover.
Oh, cool. Aaron Lepresti's project there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. There's a little sketchbook, and this is the thing. And then I got some Nexus from Steve Rude came with
oh wow.
Some little things, and it's came with a calendar.
Now those are prints, right? They're not like, it's not like
I think it's a print and then it's signed.
Okay. Okay.
And then
so it is signed by him. That's not printed signature.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a Kickstarter. That particular project.
I think it was an Indiegogo. I don't remember for sure.
Was it Indiegogo as well? Okay. It might have been.
I can't remember. Yeah. But he puts a little sign sticker so that you know that it's signed.
Yeah, hell no. Don't throw that in the garbage heap. It's actually signed by me. And the good thing is he signs it Steve Rue real big, S. Rue, real big.
Yeah. I think I showed you what I got one book that was signed by a bunch of people, and I had to go to the internet and do like all kind of Googling to find out what these signatures, and some of the signatures were like, I want to say it was Howard Chaykin, that it was just like an H. that was the extent of his signature. I was like, wow.
I hear Frank Miller's is like a squiggle line,
Oh yeah. So.
Yeah. When it comes to signatures, of course, it does make stuff more valuable if it's coupled with a remark, what they call a remark. You know, a
Yes.
little cartoon head or something of something that they're known for, or whatever.
Yeah, I got one of the issues of She,
But
Billy
Billy
Tucci's
Tucci,
book, that had
yeah.
a remark, and it was just like a moon or something. He drew a little face in it, so that was
It
kind of
really
cool.
depends on the project. You know, it can't hurt the value, I don't think, unless somebody's just a purist and doesn't want it signed, or there are
Right,
collectors out there that they want it. They want just the book. They don't want it written on, autographed by it, because they feel like that's kind of defacing it. And, you know, so there's different thoughts when it comes to collecting. I guess that's with coin collectors, trading card. I did want to say this about Wellspring, that yes, Wellspring does a great job with the printing on books, I hear. But now Shelby, I think, was saying that don't try their trading cards. They do
oh
a pitiful
really?
job with the printing on trading cards. So don't go with Wellspring on trading cards. That was
Yeah,
his advice. So,
yeah. I've been
because
getting my
he
trading
actually
cards
had
from a
some
different
printed by
place.
them, and it did not turn out good. But now he's a stickler. He is a stickler, you know, for,
Yeah.
but
Um, well, I haven't looked at how much they charge for trading cards. I think it's Got Print or one of those places
uh
that I've been getting my trading cards from, and they're relatively inexpensive.
mhm.
Um, and uh, but I don't make a ton of them. And
Well, I'm going to be hitting up the local printing and printer, and we're actually, you know, the people that did my trading cards on the first campaign, the Ashcan, will be doing, and with Rounded Corners.
okay, like
We'll
trading
be
cards.
doing during after Christmas and before New Year's. It's kind of a dead time for them. I had a
Okay,
couple of the very first thing I had done was a couple of postcards when I was doing the scratch art, you know, with Bog and stuff. So I did a couple of postcards with them back in 2016, 2017. Sent them out to different comic book shops through the mail and as a promo. Um, anyway, that's why I know it's a dead time for them. A good time to hit them up if you need any graphic stuff. So I'll be hitting them up to print out the Devil Flyer fan club cards that everybody will be getting. And right now, I think I need to really check my Gmail, see if she sent it to me. I don't even know. I haven't seen it, but she's supposed to be working on, much like that Alterna card. I have a sketch card where I can draw on, actually
oh
printed
okay,
with the logo on there and a border and stuff. Um,
right.
so I'll be getting some stuff printed up here locally pretty soon and have product in hand to show some people.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
At some point, we can revisit the cover, um, unless you found somebody else to color it.
Well, I think Mark, I hadn't announced it or talked to you about it. I mean, I like what you're doing with it, but I think since he's got the color scheme already, I'm just going to have John Dillard color it, you know.
Okay.
And but now I might want to get like maybe the world model from you or something, or have you send it to
Okay.
him later on, and then also work out the text with him. But I mean, I will. But
Yeah.
yeah, if he needs the world part of it, I'll, you know, and I'll definitely give you credit for that part of
Okay.
it.
Well, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
like I said, to me, it was more of
Well,
a
it gives
fun
me
thing just to
something to
play
show
with.
him about, you know, some of the things from your first batch to your second, that you corrected, that I kind of brought out with you, and you hit it spot on with that, with putting highlights where there wasn't any, because he used
Mm.
shadow and stuff. And then like the director's face, really muting that down. That gives me something to, you know, show him,
Yeah.
you know, that we discussed together. So thank you for that.
No problem. And to
But
be honest, I don't know when I'm going to have time. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, it
I
sounds like
I
you're going to be working through the holidays anyway.
yes, which but I don't know. I did have fun playing with it. It was funny to me though that as I was doing it, I was conscious of the fact that my point of view for that sort of thing, it looked retro.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
my stuff it was
I think
was
you
I was
had a very animator sensibility when it came to color. I I I don't know how to describe that. I think the colors were more vibrant and stuff. And it might have been, the energy wing thing at first. It would
yeah.
looked almost like fluorescent colors, which I really dug actually. Um, it really took it in a different direction. So don't scrub the files yet. We may use
No.
that. Um, I may do that as a variant for like the direct market when I send it to local comic book stores, because I will be
Okay.
getting ISBN numbers and barcodes so that I can actually go to Barnes and Noble and Amazon and stuff with it. And we may even change the format, um, to, some of the books. But
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know on this first one if we're going to or not. But definitely in the future, I'd like to do a little digest size book. But um, that's not in my plans. I did want to ask you, Mark, what you thought about my idea of combining a sequential story, a comic book with a pulp, your more traditional Western pulp, where it's just like got chapter artwork and maybe a few other items, but for the most part, it's just text.
Would it go back and forth between it, or it would be like there's a text story and then a comic story?
Yeah, I think I would either start off with the comic store or with it being sold as kind of a pulp, it would probably be somewhere in the middle. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I
Um,
mean, no, in continuity though, would I go from one page of sequential art to a text page in this within the same story, or would that be
it would be separate.
it would be separate? Okay, yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
think that's okay. I do think it would be weird to jump back and forth.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll probably start off with a pulp story. It's with the drawn interior. Anybody being drawn in becomes a permanent character, and they also get a whole chapter or story written about them. Um, Probably with artwork featuring their character on the title page. I don't know, but the
What
chapter
kind of
break artwork.
what what kind of word count those pulps used to be just
It's going to be
tons of
over 100
words, right?
pages. So that's when I talked to Jay Kreger today about it, about doing additional artwork for it. He said, that's fine. It's just about time, And I said, well, you got all the time in the world. It's going to take me a while.
Yeah,
Plus I
I
have
don't
to
know how
like
those.
the drawn in people, they get a story devoted to their character. Maybe their character meeting midnight they may be in two stories. And since they're going to be a permanent fixture, um, you know, they, I'm not even going to count, but in that pulp, they'll probably be in two stories. Their story devoted to them. And then at the end, when she kind of gathers up the roustabouts into a group, they'll probably be in there as well. So you
Yeah,
have a chance to be at least in two stories of the pulp, and maybe in the sequential story. Who knows? I haven't done it yet, although I was working on a sequential story today. I was writing out the dialogue and stuff for it. But now that,
yeah.
as I was saying earlier, that may go into my Momentum Unleashed future visions, because it is a story of midnight set in the future. I mean,
Okay,
future. It's still set in the
yeah.
Old West, but it's
But
our,
it's ahead of the time. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know how those guys uh, wrote those pulps because they were churning out. I mean, basically those were
Yeah,
novels
sit
and
out the.
maybe two or three novels in one of those pulps.
Yeah, they're thick. That's why I'm
Yeah,
I'm not I'm not even slating it for next year at all. But I will be working on it, and you will get a prequel of that in the two-page spread. You'll kind of get a preview of, you know, a mention or whatever, a
yeah,
look, and Jay Kreger is going to start on the first page,
cool.
which is devoted basically to Midnight character, and then the second page will be more broad. It'll be devoted to Midnight and the Roustabout, sort of as a team. So a couple different pages of work from him, and I do, I will be using him more next year. Um, to work on some things. I may have him, depending on how this goes and how it looks. I have a very big reason for wanting to use him in this. We'll see how it goes. I mean, he's a portrait artist and he can do very realistic type stuff, and that's one reason. I don't know that he's ever done a Western. He sent me an old Tim Vigil Western thing over the phone, cover. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like one of those, Painkiller Jane characters, or I don't know, Tim Vigil did, but it was kind of a Western type.
One thing I noticed, when they were coming out of those showcase, those DC had those telephone books that they were printing old comics in. I got the two volumes of Jonah Hex.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't read Jonah Hex when I was young, I didn't read war comics or Western comics.
The more modern Jonah Hex is Jimmy Palmiotti, or he did a stint, right?
Yeah, and
he's writing a Western now. So, and then you've got Wraith of God from Aaron Lopresti. So, Westerns are like making a comeback within the indie scene.
Yeah, but one thing I was going to point out was in those new Jonah Hex, I noticed that the art. It was fine. The art was fine. It was more modern, but you could tell that those guys doing Westerns back in the 60s and 70s and stuff had grown up watching Westerns.
Yeah.
And they had all the iconography in their head. They knew the proportions for the horses. Because I've seen some of these where the horse's head is in front of the person by a few feet. But it's smaller than their head, and I'm going. A horse's head is huge.
Yeah, that's not good. I actually, for the pulp, I'm going to get Russ Leach to do the cover for it because he's drawn, and I didn't come up with that till last week. And one reason is he draws horses really well in the Atlantean. Cole story that he's working on. So he knows how to draw horses. So I'm going to give him a hand at a Western, and it'll have that pulp feel. I'm going to ask him, if he wants to kind of do it digitally as far as coloring or whatever. I want a painted look because most of those pulp had a painted cover. And
the illustrators were.
Or do we want to just have him do bare bones and then have somebody else go over it? Ink Spots is doing a cover for him now, and he would be perfect to do a paint over thing like that because he could pull it off. He's doing one for Russ right now, almost done with it, with a dragon head and Cole on the cover, and it's dope. It's great.
Well, if you did do the route of having him do the layout, and then you might could check and see if you could find like an art student or something who could paint over it to just give it that painted look.
So I could.
Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you do it, Rex?
Well, I mean, it's all about the best product, and then also time. I've definitely bitten off, more of like.
I understand that completely.
Yeah, because I write all my stories, Mark, and you generally plot them out and create all the characters, and I'm always doing something.
Well, that was funny. When I turned the movie over to sound designer, there was this sudden moment of, hey, there's something I don't have to do.
You got to let go of your baby,
but at the same time, it was like, oh, thank goodness somebody else has to do it and not me.
Good question, Carrie. I was going to address that earlier and kind of got sidetracked, per usual. I have to let her, or maybe I mentioned it yesterday. I yesterday kind of came up, or the day before came up with the thing, and this has kind of been percolating in the back of my mind anyway, seeing the developments on Devil Flyer and how it's coming about. This is not out of the realm. I like to generally launch around tax return time in the States, which is March, April, February. We launched Devil Flyer February 2nd. So we'll probably we won't call it a relaunch, but kind of a makeover, momentum makeover, where we'll go back on. Nothing's set in stone yet because I haven't talked. I've sent her a message, but she ain't got back with me. Of doing another cosplay dress up. She won't be dressing up as Devil Flyer this time. She never does one character twice. She might dress up as Midnight. She's going to be in the book. It might be another male character. I don't know, but it might be Bog. Wouldn't that be wild? Her as a swamp character,
Yeah.
But we'll do sometime early next year, depending on her schedule, because I schedule things way out in advance. I scheduled with her last year at October and got February 2nd as a date. So I think we can still hit that tax time with sort of a makeover. That's when we'll show off all the new artwork, like the Jay Kreger stuff will be done by then, hopefully. And the Jimmy Reyes cover reveal. We'll put up original artwork, new original artwork and stuff, and then do the 9 trading cards. The character sheet, we'll do that. New Bog supplement, which will, if you buy the Bog supplement, you'll get the you'll get a short story taking place after the Grave Tale story, which will be in the Devil Flyer book. And you get a free Cortex sticker. And if you buy, if the next stretch goal will be the Bog's 6 a.m. sticker, because he's already got those done. I've already shown those. And you'll be able to get those on this campaign. So, and there's a couple other things I was thinking about. I don't want to overdo it, but it will be a whole new campaign. I mean, as far as a makeover,
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. So yeah, we'll be, and I've still got to get the cover colored, which Mark kind of started the process of that for me. And I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I might put away my crayons now.
You're a busy man. You're like me. You're busy.
But yeah, I see. I think I've got about 8 hours left on the campaign. I'm going to let it go into in demand. I was concerned there for a while it wasn't going to reach the goal. I did not realize on Indiegogo that if you set a goal, even though it's a flexible goal, if you don't reach the goal, it doesn't go into in demand. That's what it said on the thing anyway.
Yeah.
So it had to go. You had to reach the goal. So
you got to reach the goal, right? You got to at least do $500 if that's your goal. And right. For me, with the ash can, I was like, can I sell $500 worth of ash cans? And I did in a little less than a month. I did reach that, and it took us a while to get to where we're at now at 1,400, but on that campaign. But
I set my goal probably a little too high because I did it at 3,500.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. In the past campaigns, I've usually set it lower, but this time I was like, sometimes I kind of want to see just if it does have enough juice behind it. But I was able to extend it to 60 days.
They're like, oh man, we got to get him funded. He's like going to fall short. So I think it kind of galvanizes some of the backers. To get you funded, at least get you funded.
This one too is kind of like a second chance campaign because I already had the Doomsday Machine campaign, Doomsday Machine rather, and So I knew it wouldn't be, as much as that, but I extended it to 60 days and I made it. So that's good. And actually, I've gone a little over. I think I'm at like 118%.
I meant to ask you, is it going in demand?
So I think so. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how long it's going to go into in demand.
Right.
I may, if I can get I'm at 118%. So, but yeah, I know. I was like, phew. But once I get go to print on the discs, I don't want to do a lot of extra ones, so I'll probably shut it down once I do the order.
I think that's great that you're going to put commentary on there or interview or whatever, because that's the type of stuff I really like to see is the extras, just as much as the feature, really, because it really.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I like about my DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff is the commentary. To answer Carrie's question, yes, Omer Glitch, we will use his Bog fan art piece as one of the trading cards, as one of the 9 trading cards. I'm also thinking of using Ryan James's work, the pencil work, because I've got the original pencil work and then he puts it on a light table and inked it on the other side. So I'm thinking about doing like the sketch card version, of the wraparound cover as 2 of the, and then on the backs, it'll be like one scene. Now, what that one scene is, I don't know.
Okay, you can do like you put 9 of them together or whatever.
9 of them together to make one image on the back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool.
And Omer Glitches will be the 5th card, the middle card in the 9 card set. That'll be our fan art card for this campaign. I asked a couple people a couple years ago for fan art, and Fantasize have not been good enough. Katie didn't do me anything, so she started something, didn't a lady of the night, but never got it to me. So Omer Glitch wins by default, even though there has been other Devil Flyer fan artwork out there. I want a variety of artists on this trading card. I've already paid for the artwork. I might as well use it and get it out to people, and these will be square cornered. They won't be round. Now there'll be 2 and Carrie, you'll be getting these. Very few people will be getting these because there's only going to be 25 of each. And the images are up on the campaign is the armored up Devil Flyer and which will be the opponent one of the opponents that he battles next time in the 0 issue. And he'll be in the 2-page spread done by John Dillard. And the bystanders sort of shattered glass reality thing will be made into a trading card. I'll probably have those, since I know the print run on those, 25 of each, 25 or 30, something like that. I may print 30 just to have some extras, but it's going to be limited, and I'll get those printed up probably in the next week or 2, since I know the print run on them. That and the fan club cards will be printed soon, and the sketch cards. And then we'll go on to some of the other trading cards that the local printer can do for me. Because they're going to do that, and they're going to print the Bog supplement. Because I think they can do that. With the magazine, I'm going to go with another printer that's not local. Because I've got to do a hardback artist edition and other stuff, and they can't do that. So they're kind of limited. Probably go with Sticker Mule for some stickers. I don't know. Have you used Sticker Mule before?
I have. I was going to say, if you get on their mailing list, they have little
discounts.
They'll do like
on their mailing list.
Thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that stuff all the time. Yeah, I love it.
I've gotten some of their the tape, the wrapping tape that you can print on.
That's what I've got to do. I've got to.
Yeah.
I've got to get some tape made up for filming for RJ. Now, I don't know how he's going to do it. I think he wraps his in a waterproof bag anyway. But I would like to get some momentum tape with zigzag running on it.
Yeah, I've gotten. Well, I bought some, so it's got the.
Oh,
I
that's
did
cool.
like that.
So you actually got the tape that could be printed on, and then you printed from your files.
Yes.
On.
So you do like
Okay.
you do like a 12-inch section, and then they repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then I gotten some of these die cast stickers,
Yeah.
which are nice. It's kind of a little bit slick, so you
Yeah.
could stick it on your laptop or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say that they did like, it was like 50 of them for $29, and there was no shipping. So it
Yeah,
was a
they're
great
running
deal.
specials all the time. You can get for under $20 sometimes, some nice, about 50
Yeah.
count of like stickers.
And if you keep watching, you can get 50 this time, 50 next time, and add them up that way. I've done
sometimes
that
they
with
have
these.
rounds, sometimes they have die cut like that.
Yeah, and
sometimes they have
so I did this.
holographic.
Yeah, so I have another roll of this that was a smaller one that they offered up for cheap, and so I went ahead and picked it up just because it was so cheap.
Yeah.
But I think that's the smart thing to do. It if you got time, you can just keep adding stuff, adding to it rather than doing a big order for 200 of them. You can just do 50 at a time where they're cheap and they add up.
I'm hoping like the Ash Can to get new backers. Once I started showing product in hand and people were going, that's nice. And everybody liked the quality of the cards and of the bookmarks and of the magnets. The magnets are very substantial magnets. I mean, they're very substantial. And wasn't really that expensive because I was smart, Mark. All this stuff was tacked on at the end just to like freebies for people because I wanted it to look like a proper campaign, have all the sort of stretch goes, which I never really put on there. That's business card size. So I gave her 2 designs and say, let's print them out business card. And then they halved them. So
that's neat. Yeah.
They got 2 and business card size. I got these made up for like $1. So for $1, 50 cents a piece, you got a magnet.
You got 2. You got 2 magnets. Yeah. And that's kind of the way I view it too. It's just fun to be able to stick some extra stuff in there. And I love making junk. Every time Sticker Mule sends one out, I think about it because I'm like, I don't know if I need this, but it would be fun to make them.
List, bookmarks. Okay, we've done that. We've not done stickers, so we're doing stickers, some 6 a.m. stickers. We've done trading cards, and we'll continue to do those because I like trading cards, and they're fairly inexpensive to make, along with bookmarks. Flat stuff. They're easy to mail. But yeah, I've got an expansive universe, and with a lot of characters, so trading cards just make sense for me. To get their likeness on a trading card, a smaller item.
Yeah, and I work as a graphic designer, so I'm used to doing this for other people and stuff. So it's kind of fun just every once in a while to make something. I was thinking the other day. I think I figured out a way how to fold the ViewMaster sleeves. Because they have to fold in from each side. So I think I'm gonna get like a piece of plastic cut to the shape of it, and then I can just put that in there and then fold them over on the sides. I think we've talked about it before. I found that because I did some posters in the last campaign. There's a thing that you can get. It's basically a piece of smooth bone. And you rub it across it, and it'll make the seams extremely nice. So it looks professionally folded, and so I want to make sure I can use that so that it looks. Because I'd even looked to see if I could get some plastic sleeves that were that size. I could not find any anywhere, at least not for anything reasonable. I mean, I've only sold like 26 of them. I don't I don't need to buy
Thank you,
1,000
Gary.
bags yet.
Well, I will be on later. Probably he sent me the link on Insta, I believe. Omer Glitch on with. I've been on there the first couple times he's done that. His first live streams, they're draw streams, so maybe I'll get some draw, and maybe I'll just sit back and chat. But been on there with AKA Pad, and we've had a good time the last couple of weeks. We'll see. I think I left Abby out. She's been out all this time. I better go get her.
Yeah.
Say the magic words, and we'll get out of here.
The magic words are back stall trick.
Absolutely.
And then keep collecting.
Right. Stalled track. Yes. I'll give you the final word on that, because stalled track, you got your comic book there, which is cool. Your
the best
3D
deal
is everything. Buy everything for $105. Come on,
Blu-ray. That you get cheaper shipping that way. You get the whole 9 yards.
A new tier added yesterday. Dumbstay Machine Digital for $10.
Yeah, the digital copy, and if you get one of the ones that's the Blu-ray, has the Blu-ray with it, you'll also get the digital copy for free, and I'll be sending those out next week. So, or maybe the end of this week. I'm not quite sure. I was looking to see how many between the two campaigns. I think I'm gonna be sending out about 120 of them. So,
okay.
I've got to figure out.
So, like, is this Sulu on the right?
Yes, and Chekhov on the left. Chekhov is not
Chekhov? I was going to ask you if you did Chekhov. I didn't really recognize it as Chekhov.
Yeah, Chekhov's not in the episode, but since this is the last one, I kind of
that's right. You were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do the gang, but and then there's a fun Easter egg at the end. Well, it's not really an Easter egg. It's sort of just a fun little after credits thing. And I'm excited to see how the reaction was pretty good at the screening at the convention. So I'm looking out. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, check out YouTube. Funny, absolutely. Yeah, we have a good time over there. Before we get out of here, I'm going to play the trailer one more time on you know it, Choppy Ass Theater. I apologize in advance to Mark. Wow.
There's nothing more fun than having your animation shown as stills.
Yes, you master quality.
Yeah.
Non-moving animation. What a concept.
Yes.
I would do better with a flip book.
I was going to say I could have saved a lot of time.
Yeah, just release a portfolio.
Or what do they call it? Film. Awesome. Yeah, I think next time I'll do a film strip, and that way you just have it, boop, and then turn to the next frame.
Yeah,
and that'll work great on Choppy Ass Theater.
After this, will he do an additional Star Trek something? Who knows? I get it. You've done 3 and you're wanting to do something different. So
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I'm conscious of the fact I'm going to be 57 here in January, and if it takes me another 3 years, that gets me to 60. I don't know how many I'll be able to do this for. Arthritis gets in, or I drop dead. So
yeah, You got to work on that legacy now.
That's right. Got to figure out what the things I actually want to do and do them while I still can do them.
Yeah.
Before I'm a drooling old man. Yeah.
Check off the big items on your bucket list.
Yeah.
Mark, don't go anywhere. I got one other thing to say to you behind the scenes after the show. We will see you tomorrow on the 4 o'clock shadow. Episode 966.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me, Rex.
Hey, no problem. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
You move. He's wanting to go get a burger or something. Hell.
Oh, yes. It's
every time.